This is Hidden Killers Week in Review.
A look back at the most prolific stories of the week.
Murder in the morning from the Hidden Killers podcast.
Gypsy Rose Blanchard is who we are going to be talking about on this segment. I think it's a very bizarre conversation because my feelings are very mixed on this entire case. It's the weird celebration of celebrity around this woman right now feels weird to me. I'm totally a vigilante type person where I'm always like, look, if you did horrible things to somebody so I'm not at all surprised that Dee Dee Blanchard was murdered the way that she was. Did it have to happen the way that it did? Is Gypsy some sort of a folk hero now? No. I think there's a lot of other ways that could have all gone down. And I don't think that, it was necessarily self-defense. But it was certainly the effect of years and years and years of mental and physical abuse. So when people are faced with those situations, they act out in horrible ways and for survival. So I do kind of get where she came from, but I don't know. There's some weirdness going on about all.
Well, and I
this.
saw this morning or yesterday, who knows when I saw it, that she's got a GoFundMe going because she wants to buy a house and she wants to have some surgeries paid for. And it kind of sparks something in me that can anybody just put out there, I need some money and just see what happens? Because I'm tempted to just try it. Like, I don't need anything, but it'd be fun just to see who donates.
It seems to be that's how the world works these days. It's like something bad happened. Well, let's give a bunch of money to GoFundMe. I don't know. There's just so many things on this where I'm looking and I'm cringing and I'm going, you need help to get back into life. And the path and the choices that you're making right now are not necessarily increasing your odds of making this a successful transition into life.
Yeah.
One of those being marrying the guy that you became a pen pal with in prison. I'm just telling you, people who are becoming pen pals with people in prison for fun or romance, probably not usually the best people to be in a relationship with. May have some of their own issues. If this is the outlet they're going to and thinking, hey, this is a great way to meet somebody. Because as much as her boyfriend or her husband now says in the documentary that's out on Lifetime right now, oh, I was just writing in and, then we became... He, in one sentence, says he had no intent of anything romantic. The next one, it was, oh, I thought she was really, really cute. She was so pretty. And it's like, and I look at that and I go, the documentary you're talking about a woman who looked like a disabled child throughout the entire documentary.
And you're attracted to her.
And you're saying how cute and attractive she is in a sexual way, not in like a, oh, that's cute. She was trying to be fun and to play dress up like this or that. You're saying it in a sexual, like you were sexually attracted to her from the Mommy, Dead, and Dearest documentary. If you're walking away from that documentary sexually attracted to Gypsy Rose Blanchard, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah, you're barking up a very strange tree for a very odd reason. Are you looking for somebody who is submissive and maybe isn't up to the same psychological level that you are, that you can somehow take advantage of, that kind of thing?
And I got to say, it doesn't make it any better or less creepy, the fact that this guy is a teacher for special ed children.
Ugh.
And your reaction to watching Mommy, Dead, and Dearest is, boy, that Gypsy Rose Blanchard, she's a looker.
I need to get some of that.
And I'm not saying that she hasn't turned into a nice, attractive young woman. I'm saying if you're watching Mommy, Dead, and Dearest and you're walking away with anything sexual in terms of feeling towards the child that was mentally and physically abused, there's something wrong with you. That's not normal. That's not a healthy reaction in any way, shape, or form. That's fucked
Yeah,
up.
and it's not that you're saying that you can't be attracted to a developmentally disabled
No.
person. It's that the reason that this is even out there is because of alleged abuse.
Now,
and
yeah, I mean, I get
you shouldn't be attracted to that.
later in life, things change, you got different feelings, okay, whatever. But it was very clearly stated that he watched the Mommy, Dead, and Dearest because I'll go into the story here in a second, and his friend was writing Joe Exotic, and I'm going to write Gypsy Rose, and I just thought she was so cute, and it's like, dude, it's fucked up. It is just fucked up, and I know her family feels it's fucked up, and they're going along with it because they don't want to push her away to God knows what other world she would end up in, because she doesn't have the best compass going on considering the shit that she went through. But I'm sorry, this like celebrating like, oh, this is the cutest thing in the world and everything. No, this is really fucking train wreck waiting to happen. I hope the best for her, and go ahead, go live your life, with this guy or do this or that, but maybe not do it in the spotlight. It's hard enough to do something in the spotlight when everyone is healthy and happy. More or less someone who's going through this sort of hell. It seems like a great way for everything to go completely haywire. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm sorry. The actions of this man writing a woman that looked like a disabled child and some sort of sexual attraction there right off the bat is not fucking normal, healthy, or right. It's not.
Yeah, it doesn't sit right.
It is just not. And here's the story. Obviously, we know what she's been through. She's found love and she's tied the knot with her pen pal, Ryan Anderson. The couple's unique love story has captured the attention of many, shedding light on her journey. Ryan Anderson, who's 37, and she's 32. There's not a huge age difference here. He's a special education teacher from Louisiana, first connected with Gypsy while she was serving time in prison for conspiring to murder her abusive mother, Claudine Dee Blanchard. Anderson revealed during that exclusive interview with People that their initial contact was part of a conversation with a hospital coworker who had taken an interest in writing Joe Exotic from the Netflix series. He's normalizing it. This is how it's like, oh, I was going to write Joe Exotic. I as well write Gypsy Rose Blanchard. You're normalizing really fucking weird behavior. Because they did it, I'm doing this.
Yeah. Ugh.
Said Tiger King was really popular at the time. I said, I tell you what, you write him, I'll write Gypsy Rose Blanchard. I never thought she'd be my wife. Why are you writing Gypsy Rose Blanchard? Like, Anderson says he watched Mommy, Dead, and Dearest, a documentary about Gypsy's ordeal, and he made sure to also watch The Act, the Hulu series from 2019 based on Gypsy's life, referencing its ending in his letter to her. Anderson poured his heart out in the letter, sharing personal details about himself. I remember telling her what her story meant to me, and on the second page, I just let her have it, Anderson stated. Gypsy later explained that one reason she chose to respond was because Anderson hailed from Louisiana, her original home state, adding a touch of familiarity. When somebody asks you, and I noticed this in the interview, if somebody asks you, well, what drew you to this person? And your first answer is the geographic location of where you both hail from. That's usually not a very strong way to start it out. Like, we're both from the same state. There's thousands of people that could of every single persuasion and every type of personality. Just because we're there in that piece of land at one point in time, that's a big connection to you. Correspondence began in May 2020 through exchanged emails, eventually leading to their first meeting in June of 2021. Just over a year later, on July 21st, 2022, the couple exchanged vows in a small prison ceremony at the correctional center in Missouri, where Gypsy had spent more than 8 years. I also want to put this in there, too, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that are really not happy with me right now because they want to be on the Gypsy Rose's wonderful train. Mm-hmm. And you can be, and I'm not saying that it's not great that she's out, and if she wants to go be an advocate for this stuff, go have at it. There's probably nobody better on this planet who could do it than her. I'm saying this is a weird fucking thing, that the whole merits of this relationship. You can do whatever you want, but I'm speaking of the elephant in the room. It's fucking weird. Their third time they saw each other, he snuck a ring into the prison to ask her to marry him on the third visit.
Oh my God.
No. It's not saying that maybe they, had corresponded for a long time before the third visit took place, but I don't know. Third time you're meeting anybody, is it ever really a great idea to ask them to marry you?
Let me ask you this, and I don't know a lot about prison life, but can you just go see somebody?
If they accept your visit, if they're able to have visitors, they can say no, though, too.
Okay. So they just wrote letters back and forth, and he said, I want to come see you, and she put him on the list of acceptable people.
Yep. Gypsy Rose Blanchard previously, of course, pled guilty to the second-degree murder in 2016 for her involvement in the conspiracy to kill her mother with her then-boyfriend, Nick Godejohn, who carried out the killing. Godejohn was found guilty of first-degree murder and armed criminal action, receiving a life sentence in prison without the possibility of parole, along with an additional 25 years just for the hell of it. And Nick Godejohn, I'm not singing his praises or saying he's a good guy or anything like that. I mean, he was caught, doing it at a McDonald's watching porn with himself in the corner, and they arrested him after many hours. And judging from what we do know about his character, he's got a lot of flaws. He's not a great dude. He's very predator-like, but at the same point also autistic too. So I think that plays in a little bit to some people's very fucked up behaviors as well. And he's spending the rest of life in prison. Gypsy's out on the runway right now. I don't know. To me, there's so many incongruencies in this story of justice that just don't feel very just.
I'm still troubled by somebody that, I guess you find love where you find love, but I'm wondering, this woman, really didn't have anybody who loved her.
No.
For the formative years of her life. So here comes this guy who pours his heart out to her, and she just latches on that, he loves me and he's going to be whatever for me. I don't know.
Maybe he will. Maybe he will. I'm just saying there is something not right with a person. And I think take Gypsy Rose out of the equation. You put any person into a situation where they watched a documentary about someone who looked and acted, and all you know at the end of that thing is of them being a developmentally disabled child. And you're writing in with some sort of weird sexual interest. That's not fucking normal or right or healthy. She clearly wasn't that at the end of the day. But at that moment in time, we knew that of her, and we knew that she was in prison, and she was aware of some of the stuff, that happened, and she was taking responsibility for it. It's very weird to walk away from that with a sexual interest in somebody. That just, there's something off on that individual if that's the driving force. And at first, I know he plays it down like, it wasn't, but then he contradicts himself in those interviews. So I don't know. It's weird.
I just hope he doesn't wreck her more than she's already wrecked.
Yeah, I don't know. They're both adults. They can do as they choose, but I don't over here choose to be on the bandwagon of this. All looks great and everything seems super magical and wonderful. It doesn't. This seems like a train wreck that's waiting to happen, especially when some of the first things that Gypsy Rose does is get on social media when people are kind of like, this seems a little weird, this relationship. And she says, his dick is fire. Yeah. Gypsy, I think a little more help would be appropriate to navigate this world. I really, really do.
Sick of the ads?
We are too.
Start listening with no commercials now and get access to all of our episodes in advance of everyone else.
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
True Crime Today Premium Plus.
Sign up now.